ॐ शुक्लाम्भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्जसम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्रजं। வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா. லோகவீரியம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யஹம். சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா. வாகர்த்தாவிவ சம்பிருக்தௌ வாகர்த்த பிரதிபத்தயே ஜகதः பிதரௌ வந்தே பார்வதி பரமேஸ்வரௌ. ஸ்ரீ பார்வதி பரமேஸ்வராभ्यां நமः. कोमलं पूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहं। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन्। हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरनभ्यर्थितानपि आर्तान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी ध्रुवमभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयं। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशी विभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलादरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने. കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചന നിന്നോടായി. ഏതീനു മഞ്ഞനെ കുമ്പിടേണ്ടാത്തോറു രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കന്നായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Good morning, everyone. Okay, see who all we have. Since it's like going to be a smaller group of people available, any two of you, one of you can do 87, other can do 88, 1 to 6.
I can do 87.
Okay, why don't you do that?
I can try 86.
Okay.
88. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
कुचेलनामा भवतः सतीत्यतां गतः सान्दीपनिमन्दिरे द्विजः त्वदेकरागेण धनादिनिस्पृहो दिनानि निन्ये प्रशमी गृहाश्रमी समानलीलापि तदीयवल्लभा तदैव नो चित्तजयं समेयुषी कदाचित् दूचे बत वृत्तिलब्धये रमापतिः किं न सका निषेव्यते.
And actually, the first line, first word, samana shilapi.
समानशीलापि.
Yeah.
इतिरितोऽयं प्रियया क्षुधार्तया जुगुप्समानोऽपि धने मदावहे तदा त्वदालोकनकौतुकाध्ययौ वहन् पटान्ते पृथुकानुपायनं गतोऽयमाश्चर्यमयीं भवत्पुरीं गृहेषु शैभ्या भवनं समेयिवान् प्रविश्य वैकुण्ठमिवापनिर्वृत्तिं तवाति संभावनया तु किं पुनः
Sambhavanaya, last one.
संभावनया तु किं पुनः प्रपूजितं तं प्रियया च वीजितं करे गृहीत्वा कथयः पुरा कृतं यदिन्तनार्थं गुरुदार चोदितैः अपर्तु वर्षं तदमर्षिकानने त्रपाजुषोऽस्मात् पृथकं बलादत प्रगृह्य मुष्टौ सकृताशिते त्वया कृतं नन्वयतेति सम्भ्रमात् रमा किलोपेत्यकरं रुरोधते.
The second line, nan biyate. Okay. You said va biyate sambramat.
Okay. Kritam nanviyateti, right?
Yeah, correct. Yes.
Okay. Bhakteषु भक्तेन समानितस्त्वया पुरीं वसन्नेक निशां महासुखं भतापरेद्युर्द्रविणं विनाययौ विचित्ररूपस्थव खल्वनुग्रहः यदि ह्ययाचिष्यम अदास्य अच्युतो वदामि भार्यां किमिति व्रजन्नसौ त्वदिक्तिलीलास्मितं ग्रदी पुनः क्रमादपश्यन्मणि दीप्रमालयं किं मार्गविभ्रंश इति भ्रमं क्षणं गृहं प्रविष्टस् सददर्श वल्लभां सखीपरीतां मणिहेमभूषितां बुबोध च त्वत्करुणां महाद्भुतां सरत्नशालासु वसन्नपि स्वयं समुन्नमद्भक्तिभरोमृतं ययो त्वमेव मा पूरितभक्तवाञ्छितो मरुत्पुराधीश हरस्व मे गतान्. श्रीकृष्णाय परब्रह्मणे नमः.
श्रीकृष्णाय परब्रह्मणे नमः. Arjuna Garbhabhang. Sorry for that, sir. प्रागेवाचार्य पुत्रा हृतिनिशमनया स्वीय चक्षूनुवीक्षां काङ्क्षन्त्या मातुरुक्त्या सुतलभुवि बलिं प्राप्यतेनार्चितस्त्वं धातुश्शापाद्दिरन्यान्वितकशिपु भवान् शौरिजान् कंसभग्नान् आनीयैनान् प्रदर्श्य स्वपदम् अनयथा पूर्वपुत्रान् मरीचेः.
The last line, swapadam anayathaha. And then a pause there.
Aaniyainan pratarshya swapadam anayathaha. Yeah, thank you.
And that's
Swapadam.
a 4-liner tune. Okay, that one is like, it'll be like Sandra, Nanda, same tune.
Prage Vacharya Putra Hrutinishamanaya.
That's okay. Keep going. Yeah.
Purva Putran Mariche. श्रुतदेव इति श्रुतं द्विजेन्द्रं बहुलाश्वं नृपतिं च भक्तिपूर्णं युगपत्वमनुग्रहीत कामो मिथिलां प्रापित तापसैः समेतः गच्छन् द्विमूर्तिरुभयोर्युगपन्निकेतम् एकेन भूरिविभवैर्विहितोपचारः अन्येन तद्दिनभृतैश्च फलौदनाद्यैः तुल्यं प्रसेदित ददात च मुक्तिमाभ्याम् भूयो तद्वारवत्यां विजतनयमृतिं त्वत्प्रलापानपि त्वं को वा दैवं निरुन्ध्यादिति किल कथयन्नं विश्ववोढाप्यसोढाः जिष्णोर्गर्वं विनेतुं त्वयि मनुजधिया कुण्ठितां चास्य बुद्धिं तत्त्वारूढां विधातुं परमतम पदप्रेक्षणेनेति मन्ये नष्टा अष्टास्य पुत्राः पुनरपि तव तुपेक्षया कष्टवादः स्पष्टो जातो जनानाम् अत तदवसरे द्वारकामापपार्थः मैत्र्या तत्रोषितोऽसौ नवमसुतमृतौ विप्रवर्य प्ररोदं श्रुत्वा चक्रे प्रतिज्ञामनुपहृत सुतः सन्निवेक्ष्ये कृशानुम् मानी स त्वामपृष्ट्या विजनिलयगतो बाणजालैर्महास्त्रैः रुन्दानः सूतिगेहं पुनरपि सहसा दृष्टनष्टे कुमारे यां यामैन्द्रीं ततन्याः सुरवरनगरीर्विद्यया साद्य सद्यो मोगोद्योगः पतिष्यन् हुतभुजि भवता सस्मितं वारितोऽभूत्. I
Yeah,
think the tune is not
that's okay.
correct.
That's okay. The first line, I think this is the word Twama Prishtva. Mani
Mani
Satvama Prishtva.
Satvama Prushtva. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
Sri Krishna. I think we done only 6, right?
Yeah, we did only 6. We stopped there. Yeah. Okay.
Thank
All right.
you.
We'll start from 7. Let me see who I had today. Jyoti Dev, you can be student, and Shailaja Naishadam, you can be student. Stanza 7. And I know I have to say the meaning for 6 also. So, Sardham tena praticim dishamati javina syandane nabhiyato loka lokam vyatitaha timira bharamato chakradhamna nirundhan chakram shuklishta drishtim sthitamata vijayam pashya pashyeti varam pare tvam pradadarshaha kimapi hi tamasam dura duram padam te. So in the 6th one also, right? So we saw it before that is there was in Dwaraka once there was a Brahmana whose children were dying, and he kept coming over to Krishna every single time and saying that my children are dying, immediately after they are born, and you have to do something. And Krishna's like, I can't do anything about it. So everybody is like, but you are the ruler, and you say you have helped all these people do so many things, you should be able to help. And Krishna keeps saying, I can't do anything. So then one day the person had lost 8 children. Then when Arjuna is there one day, the person loses the 9th child. And then he comes and says, I've lost my 9th child. And Krishna, you have not been able to do anything. So at the time, Arjuna feels like, how can somebody not step up and try to want to help a person like this? And then he was still being, carrying the weight of his win in Mahabharata war. So he then says that I will make sure I save the 9th child. Brahmana says, but all these people have not stepped up. He says, no, if I don't, then I will actually give up my life, right? So that's kind of where we ended into the 5th stanza when we ended there. So, and then the important thing that is to be known here is all the way from the beginning, Krishna has always been by Arjuna's side. Arjuna has always consulted Krishna before he did it. But now that ego has taken over. So he feels like he can do it and he doesn't need Krishna by his side, right? So it's the same thing like we do, right? When things are going fine, we believe it is all our responsibility. We are the best, it's all because of our accountability and ownership and all that at work. Anyway, so here now that Brahmana's wife is pregnant for the 10th time. So Arjuna goes and then with his Gandiva bow and with all the missiles and everything he has, he constructs a big fortress around the Suti Geham, around the Garbhagraham where that baby is going to be delivered, and around the labor room. And then he protects it and he makes sure that no soul can enter or leave without my permission, or no soul can leave without my permission, right? So with that, he kind of constructs this and he's super confident. The child is born, the 10th child is born. So the moment the child is born, sometimes they use the word child disappears. Sometimes they use the word the child is dead. I don't know what is right. Doesn't matter, right? But essentially, the child is not there. So, the child, again, the 10th child also is dead right now or has disappeared. So at this time, this Brahmana is like very upset because he said, I told you that, you cannot protect it. Krishna cannot protect Pradyumna, Balarama. Nobody is able to protect. And then you gave me false confidence. See, others at least did not give confidence. Arjuna gave false confidence that I will make sure, right? So this Brahmana gets even more upset. So he says, it's your responsibility because you said you're going to find the child. So Arjuna is also like, like Narayana incarnation, right? Nara incarnation. So he's also very strong with his yogic powers. So he goes all over. He goes to Yamaloka, he goes to Swargaloka, he goes to all these places looking for those children. And then he comes back finally completely resigned, not able to find the child. So then he's also given up. And then at that point, he lights up a fire, and then he's about to jump into it because that was the promise Arjuna had made. When he's about to jump, at that time, Krishna, it says, Bhavata Sasmitam Varito Bhuto. Krishna, you come in a smiling way and hold on to Arjuna's hand and say, Arjuna, you don't have to jump into the fire. I will show you where the children are. So that's kind of how stanza 6 ends. Now in stanza 7, so at that time, Krishna now takes Arjuna to go show where the children are. So what he does is Krishna takes over and they head westward, not westward from Dwaraka, but westward from the earthly direction. And they go in Krishna's super fast chariot, it says, so some kind of a spaceship, which goes at excruciatingly high speeds. And then they literally cross a place called as Loka Loka. That Loka Loka is Loka Aloka. So Loka is a lokam, all kind of our universe. Alokam means where the universe is not there, which means there's absolute nothingness. So the Loka Loka is like an invisible border which is between the known universe and then everything else that is not there outside the known universe. At some point, nothing seems to exist. So it is a boundary region. So Krishna is taking Arjuna and literally going over beyond this, all the known worlds and going to the divider line. And once they go there, it says Timira Bharam. It's like excruciating darkness, intense darkness. They cannot see anything. At that time, Krishna then sends a Sudarshana Chakra as a guiding light. Arjuna is getting scared because there's absolutely nothing visible, right? There's no planets, no stars, nothing. So he then sends a Sudarshana Chakram as a light to go guide him. And then at some point, they then reach this place of divine effulgence, complete brightness, which is called as a Brahma Jyoti, which is just intense brightness to the point that Arjuna has to get divine vision to be able to even see that Brahma Jyoti, right? Otherwise, he cannot see that. So at that time, they then enter into this special region where there is no tamas in existence. It's pure sattva guna, pure spiritual in nature. They enter that region.
I have a question. Is
Yeah,
this Sandana Gopala Katha happening after the war?
yeah, after the war. After the war. Yeah, because that's where Arjuna is like still proud that he's the
Yeah,
winner.
okay.
The war was won
Because
because of
his
him.
ego kicked in. Yeah,
Ego kicked in, right? That's
yeah,
why.
okay. Yeah, thank you.
And this is towards the end of the Krishna avatar anyway. So, Sardham Thena, comma, Pratichim Dishamati Javina Syandane Nabhiyato, comma, Loka Lokam Vyatitaha. That is goes away, put a visarga and comma. Timira Bharamato Chakradhamna Nirundhan. सार्धं तेन प्रतीचीं दिशमतिजविना स्यन्दनेनाभियातो लोकालोकं व्यतीतः तिमिरभरमतो चक्रधाम्ना निरुन्धन्.
सान्द्रं तेन प्रतीजीं दिशमधिजविना स्यन्दनेनाभियातो लोकालोकं व्यतीतः तिमिरभरमथो चक्रधाम्ना निरुन्धन्. सार्धं तेन प्रतीजीं दिशमधिजविना स्यन्दनेनाभियातो लोकालोकं व्यतीतः तिमिरभरमथो चक्रधाम्ना निरुन्धन्.
सार्धं तेन प्रतीचीं दिशमतिजविना स्यन्दनेनाभियातो लोकालोकं व्यतीतः तिमिरभयमथो चक्रधाम्ना निरुन्धन्. सार्धं तेन प्रतीचीं दिशमतिजविना स्यन्दनेनाभियातो लोकालोकं व्यतीतः तिमिरभयमथो चक्रधाम्ना निरुन्धन्.
Shailaja, that second line, Timira
Timira Bhayamato. Bhara.
Bharamato, yeah, Rasam. Yeah.
I have a Ra here, okay.
but bharamat, ra only. Bharamato, yeah.
Thank you.
Chakramshu klishta drishtim stithamatha vijayam, then comma. Pashya pashyeti varam, then put a plus. So Pashya pashyeti is just Krishna is telling Arjuna, look, like look, because there was like intense darkness, and then this Brahma Jyoti is coming. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, look what I'm going to show you, what I'm about to show you right now. Pashya pashyeti varam, put a plus. Pare tvam pradadarshaha, comma. Kimapihi tamasam duram padamte. चक्रां शुक्लिष्टदृष्टिं स्थितमतविजयं पश्येति वारां पारे त्वं प्राददर्शः किमपि हि तमसां दूरं पदं ते
चक्रां शुक्लिष्टदृष्टिं स्थितमथ विजयं पश्येति वारां पारे त्वं प्राददर्शः किमपि हि तमसां दूरं पदं ते चक्रां शुक्लिष्टदृष्टिं स्थितमथ विजयं पश्येति वारां पारे त्वं प्राददर्शः किमपि हि तमसां दूरं पदं ते
चक्रां शुक्लिष्टदृष्टिं स्थितमतविजयं पश्येति वारां पारे त्वं प्राददर्शः किमपि हि तमसां दूरं पदन्ते चक्रां शुक्लिष्टदृष्टिं स्थितमथ विजयं पश्येति वारां पारे त्वं प्राददर्शः किमपि हि तमसां दूरं पदन्ते
Stanza 8. तत्रासीनं भुजङ्घादिपशयनतले दिव्यभूषायुधाद्यैः आवीतं पीतचेलं प्रतिनवजलदश्यामलं श्रीमदङ्गं मूर्तीनामीशितारं परमिह तिसृणाम् एकमर्थं श्रुतीनां त्वामेव त्वं परात्मन् प्रियसखसहितो नेमितक्षेमरूपम्. Very beautiful description here. You should start this and keep. This is what I always chant when like I go to Guruvayur, and behind the Guruvayurpan temple there is like a Lord Mahavishnu lying down, or I went into Srirangam where is Ranganatha lying down, right? So this is the description of. So when they go there and then they see this intense Brahma Jyoti brightness which is there, and Arjuna cannot even comprehend what he's seeing, right? It's like something which is indescribable. And in that place, when he's able to go there, he's seeing lying on this Adishesha with thousands of hoods and with like fearsome eyes on that, and who resembles like Mount Kailash, which means like bright white in color. Adishesha is massive size in color. On that, he's seeing this main Mahavishnu lying, who is, then it goes about description of that Mahavishnu, right? So Bhujanga Dipa Shayana Tala is lying, Shayanam is lying on that Adishesha, whose color, and his color is that of like again the dark rain-bearing clouds. The color is Avitam Pita Chelam, so he's wearing it's a yellow color garment, and then he's Shamalam Sri Madangam, then he's having Mahalakshmi there along with him. He's having 8 hands, Ashtabhujam, that he's actually having. And then, he's having the Kaustubha, he's having the Srivatsa mark, and, so Vanamali with all of these things attended by his personal attendants, which requires Nanda, Sunanda, and all of those who are the main attendants, and of course Mahalakshmi. With all of these people, he's seeing the main Mahavishnu who's actually lying there. So with that, both Arjuna and Krishna are getting a darshan of the main Mahavishnu here. And then they prostrate, both of them prostrate to that Mahavishnu. Priyasaka Sahito Nemita Kshema Rupam. To your main form of yours, you all are prostrating. Tatrasinam Bhujangadipa Shayana Tale Divya Bhushayudhadyehi. So put a visarga at the end of that line and comma, and that line is continuous. Bhudadyehi, comma. Next line, the Ravitam becomes Avitam Pitachelam, comma. Pratinava Jalada Shyamalam Srimadangam. Like a fresh, rain bearing, as like if the cloud has come fresh, or a blue lily which has come fresh. In that color, you are there. Srimadangam. Tatrasinam bhujangadipashayana divyabhusha avitam pitachelam pratinava jalada shyamalam srimadangam.
तत्रासीनं भुजङ्गादिपशयनतले दिव्यभूषायुधाद्यैः आवीतं पीतचेलं प्रदिनवजलदश्यामलं को श्रीमदङ्गम् तत्रासीनं भुजङ्गादिपशयनतले दिव्यभूषायुधाद्यैः आवीतं पीतचेलं प्रदिनवजलदश्यामलं श्रीमदङ्गम्
तत्रासीनं भुजङ्गाधिपशयनतले दिव्यभूषायुधाध्यैः आवीतं पीतचेलं प्रतिनवजलदश्यामलं श्रीमदङ्गम् तत्रासीनं भुजङ्गाधिपशयनतले दिव्यभूषायुधाद्यैः आवीतं पीतचेलं प्रतिनवजलदश्यामलं श्रीमदङ्गम्
मूर्तीनाम् ईशितारं, परमिह तिसृणाम् ekam artham shrutinam. Shruti refers to Vedas here. So the sole meaning or the sole purpose of all of the Vedas is you. That Mahavishnu is lying there. Ekam artham shrutinam, Twameva tvam paratman, priya sakha sahito nemita kshema rupam. Murtinhamishitaram paramihati srunam ekamartam shrutinam tvameva tvam paratman priyasaka sahito nemita kshema rupam.
मूर्तीनामीशितारं परमिहतिसृणाम् एकमर्थं श्रुतीनां त्वामेव त्वं परात्मन् प्रियसखसहितो नेमिधक्षेमरूपम् मूर्तीनामीशितारं परमिहतिसृणाम् एकमर्थं श्रुतीनां त्वामेव त्वं परात्मन् प्रियसखसहितो नेमिधक्षेमरूपम्
मूर्तीनामिशितारां परमिहतिसृणाम् एकमर्थं श्रुतीनां त्वामेव त्वं परात्मन् प्रियसखसहितो नेमिथक्षेमरूपम्.
Let's go to that first word. Murtinam ishitaram. Long E. Ishitaram.
मूर्तीनामीशितारं परमिहतिसृणाम् एकमर्थं श्रुतीनां त्वामेव त्वं परात्मन् प्रियसखसहितो नेमिथक्षेमरूपम्.
That's a nine. Yuvam mameva dvavadika vivritantarhitataya vibhinnau sandrashtum swayamaya maharsham dvijasutan nayetam draghetaniti khalu vitirnan punaramune dvijayada yadaha pranutamahima pandujanusha. So that Mahavishnu is now talking to Krishna and Arjuna and saying Yuvam. Yuvam means you both. You say Yuvam Mameva. It is only me who is now shown up as you both right now. He says the only difference is in one of you, Arjuna, that Satvikam, the divinity, is a little latent. It is there, but it is not fully exposed because there's Rajas and Tamo gunas of yours which are actually shielding it. But in the form of Krishna, it is a full my personality just taken in incarnation. So there's no difference between me and that Krishna who is actually standing there, except that that energy has come in the form of a person like Krishna, which is why Bhishma in Vishnu Sahasranamam, he said, this entire, the Vishnu Sahasranamam is the God for this is Devaki Nandanaha. So the son of Devaki is the God of this Vishnu Sahasranama, right? So he says, there's no difference between me and this Krishna. It is just an incarnation I have taken as this. With you, you are also me, but just with divinity, which is in latent stage, which is sleeping inside, right? And then he says, it was my desire to bring both of you because both of these are incarnations, Nara and Narayana incarnations of the same Bhagavan, right? So he says, I wanted to bring both of you because this incarnation of both of you is coming to an end. So I just wanted to bring you because Arjuna doesn't realize all of these things, that he is an incarnation, right? This is his purpose. So he doesn't understand, like we don't understand our true purpose sometimes we say, right? But Arjuna doesn't. So but he's been doing his duty. So this is to just give him an opportunity to realize that you are same as me. I wanted to meet you. So that's why I brought the children over here to give you an opportunity and a chance to actually meet me, right? And it says both of your avatarams are coming to an end because all this, the Mahabharata Yuddham is done, all these Asuras, Kamsa, Shishupala, Dantavaktra, all of those have been eradicated. So this entire avataram is coming to an end. And then just some more time is left, after which both of you will come and then merge into me. So that was the message that Mahavishnu says. And then Arjuna then does a stuti there, praising that Mahavishnu, and then they both come back. With all the 10 children, they are able to come back. Yuvam mameva, comma, dvavadika bivrutantar hitataya, comma, vibhinnau sandrashtum, comma. So the next one, I'm just going to break it into 3 if you want it. Swayam aham aharsham. So you can break it those masks. Swayam aham aharsham dvija sutan. Nayetam dragetaniti khalu, comma, vitirnan punaramune, comma, dvija yada yadaha, comma, pranuta mahima pandu janusha. Yuvam mamheva dvavadika vivrutantarhitataya vibhinnau sandrashtum swayamahaharsham dvijasutan nahetam dragetaniti khalu vitirnan punaramune dvijayada yadaha pranuta mahima pandu janusha.
युवां मामेव द्वावधिकविवृतान्तर्हिततया विभिन्नौ सन्द्रष्टुं स्वयमहमहर्षं द्विजसुधान् नयेतं द्रागेतान् इति खलु वितीर्णान् पुनरमून् द्विजायादायादाः प्रणुतमहिमा पाण्डुजनुषा युवां मामेव द्वावधिकविवृतान्तर्हिततया विभिन्नौ सन्द्रष्टुं स्वयमहमहर्षं द्विजसुधान् नयेदं द्रागेतान् इति खलु वितीर्णान् पुनरमून् द्विजायादायादाः प्रणुतमहिमा पाण्डुजनुषा
युवां मामेव द्वावधिकविवृतान्तर्हिततया विभिन्नौ सन्दृष्टं स्वयमहमहर्षं द्विजसुतान् नयेतं द्रागेतानिति खलु वितीर्णान् पुनरमून् द्विजायादायादाः प्रणुतमहिमा पाण्डुजनुषा.
Shall I go to the second line? San drashtum. Dra sound. Okay, there.
विभिन्नौ सन्द्रष्टुम्.
Yeah.
युवां मामेव द्वावधिकविवृतान्तर्हिततया विभिन्नौ सन्द्रष्टुं स्वयमहमहर्षं द्विजसुतान् नयेतं द्रागेतानिति खलु वितीर्णान् पुनरमून् विजायादायादाः प्रणुतमहिमा पाण्डुजनुषा.
एवं नानाविहारैर्जगदभिरमयन् वृष्णिवंशं प्रपुष्णन् ईजानो यज्ञभेदैः अतुलविहृतिभिः प्रीणयन्नेन नेत्राः भूभारक्षेपदम्भात् पदकमलजुषां मोक्षणायावतीर्णः पूर्णं ब्रह्मैव साक्षात् यदुषुमनुजता रूषितस्त्वं व्यलासीः. So with this, all those 10 children were gotten back in their original bodies that they had, right? And then they were actually returned back to the Brahmana. So with both Arjuna then comes to the realization of, although he has seen Krishna's true greatness at various points, including when he showed the Vishwarupam and did the Bhagavad Gita, but sometimes, we end up forgetting. So he's then reminded again of Krishna's greatness. So that is, that ends up stanza 9. Now in 10, it is now coming to the end of it. It says, in this manner, O Krishna, you exhibited so many leelais, right? And we'll discuss that in the last stanza here. But the more important thing is, you then help the Vrishni Vamsham, you help the Vrishni clan, which is the Nandagopa's clan and, the Yadava clan of Vasudeva and all of them. And then you did a lot of other good things also during your Krishna Avataram, a lot of which may not be here. And then, of course, this the Gopikas also, you then gave all of them also liberation, right? You gave them extreme happiness, and then you reduce the burden on earth by giving liberation. That's why it's mokshanayavatirnaha. This avataram is full of giving moksham to people. So whoever was fortunate to come in contact, whether in a good way or a bad way, all of those things, you gave moksham to all of them. So this is one of the avataram, and maximum people got liberated. So he says, you are Purnam Brahmaiva Sakshat, you who is the supreme Brahman incarnated in this form, who lived like a Manujata Rushitas. You lived in the form of a human amongst the Yadavas, just to give them that way to engage with you in a human form, because we engage with God in different forms in different times, but engaging with God in a human form, you gave them that opportunity.
ஓகே ராஜேஷ் ஜி, இதுல அப்ப பகவானே அங்க பாத்துக்கிறாரு அப்பனாக்கா அந்த இடத்துல?
ஆமா, அதான் அது வந்து பாக்குறது அர்ஜுனனுக்காக, டு ஷோ அர்ஜுனா. See, it is just an incarnation. At the end of the day, it's just energy, right? That energy can take infinite number of forms. The same energy is there in the smallest of the atom, which is there, is the same energy which is there. There's no difference between the energy which is there in the subatomic particle and the energy of the Mahavishnu who resides outside the Brahmanda. It is just serving different functions, right? அந்த ஒரு இது to do a particular task, you only need some amount of energy. So that small amount of energy is residing in that. It is like taking that fire. Simple example. நீங்க ஒரு பெரிய திருவண்ணாமலையில தீபம் ஏத்துற, it's like a massive fire. You take a small wick from that and lighting a small lamp. The fire is the same. But one of them is a small lamp that is lighting. One of them is a Tiruvannamalai Deepam, which is huge in size. But there's no difference, but it is just serving different purposes, right? With the amount of, that's the simplest way to look at it. Okay.
Thank you.
Evam nana viharai jagadabhiramayan, Vrishni vamsham prapushnan, put a in at the end of that line, comma. Next line, if you have a double na and ni jano, that becomes e jano. E jano yajna bhedaihi. The ra goes away, visargan, comma, yajna bhedaihi. Atula, next word, atula vihrati bihi, put a f, vihrati bif, preenayannena netraha. Evam nanaviharai jagadabhiramayan, Vrishni-vamsham prapushnan, ijano yajna-bhedaihi, atula-vihrutibhih preenayannena netraha.
एवं नानाविहारैर्जगदभिरमयन् वृष्णिवंशं प्रपुष्णन् ईजानो यज्ञभेदैः अतुलविहृतिभिः प्रीणयन्नेन नेत्राः. एवं नानाविहारैर्जगदभिरमयन् वृष्णिवंशं प्रपुष्णन् ईजानो यज्ञभेदैः अतुलविहृतिभिः प्रीणयन्नेन नेत्राः.
एवं नानाविहारैर्जगदभिरमयन् वृष्णिवंशं प्रपुष्णन् ईजानो यज्ञभेदैः अतुलविहृतिभिः प्रीणयन्नेन नेत्राः. एवं नानाविहारैर्जगदभिरमयन् वृष्णिवंशं प्रपुष्णन् ईजानो यज्ञभेदैः अतुलविहृतिभिः प्रीणयन्नेन नेत्राः.
भूभार क्षेप दम्बात, पद कमल जुषाम मोक्षणायावतीर्णः, पूर्णम ब्रह्मैव साक्षात्. You'll have a dhya sound there. Just break it into a it first. Sakshat, next word will start with the ya. Yadushu manujata rushitas tvam vyalasihi. Bhubharakshepadambhat padakamalajusha mokshanayavatirnah, purnam brahmaiva sakshat, yadushu manujata rushitastvam vyalasihi.
भूभारक्षेपदम्बाद् पदकमलजुषां मोक्षणायावतीर्णः पूर्णं ब्रह्मैव साक्षात् यदुषु मनुजतारूषितस्त्वं व्यलासीः. भूभारक्षेपदम्बाद् पदकमलजुषां मोक्षणायावतीर्णः पूर्णं ब्रह्मैव साक्षात् यदुषु मनुजतारूषितस्त्वं व्यलासीः.
भूभारक्षेपदम्भात् पदकमलजुषां मोक्षणायावतीर्णः पूर्णं ब्रह्मैव साक्षात् यदुषु मनुजतारूषितस्त्वं व्यलासीः भूभारक्षेमदम्भात् पदकमलजुषां मोक्षणायावतीर्णः पूर्णं ब्रह्मैव साक्षात् यदुषु मनुजतारूषितस्त्वं व्यलासीः.
That's 11. प्राहेण द्वारवत्याम् अवृतधयितधा नारदस्त्वद्रसार्द्रः तस्माल्लेभे कदाचित् खलु सुकृतनिधिस्त्वत्पिता तत्त्वबोधम् भक्तानामग्रयाहि स च खलु मतिमान् उद्धवस्त्वत्त एव प्राप्तो विज्ञानसारम् स किल जनहितायाधुनास्ते बदर्याम्. Since towards the end of the Krishna avatar, he says Lord Narada spent a lot of time, in Dwaraka along with Krishna, and also educated and liberated, Krishna's parents, Vasudeva and Nanda and all of them. But the most thing here is the biggest of your devotee, Uddhava. So that Uddhava got a lot of information. So this is not there in Narayaniyam. Like I said at the very beginning, the first class I said this, you may not remember it. But in Narayaniyam, Bhattripat doesn't talk about Krishna leaving the earth because he believes that Krishna never left the earth. He's in Guruvayur. That same Krishna is sitting still live in Guruvayur. So he doesn't talk about Krishna leaving the earth. So, but he just talks about the last period here of him giving that knowledge to Uddhava. So in Bhagavatam, it says, when time has come for Krishna, he then departs Dwaraka. And because he knows there is a fight that's going to happen between the Yadava Kula. So they all keep fighting because they had so much wealth. They had absolutely no problems in life. When you don't have problems in life, you invent problems to fight over, right? So they were all they kept fighting, and Krishna's own sons, grandsons, everybody, they all kept fighting. So Krishna just departed Dwaraka at that time, and that entire Vamsham comes to an end. Yadava Kulam has completely destroyed. They've killed each other, and the entire thing is gone. And at that time, Krishna is then sitting, and then one day Uddhava comes looking for Krishna, and then Krishna then tells Uddhava, it's time for me to go. So Uddhava says, I cannot let you go, because there's no way. Because he's always been in Krishna's side from when he saw him in Madhura in the 74th Dashakam. So he says, I cannot let you go. But Krishna says, no, I want you. And Uddhava says, I don't even want liberation. I just want to be with you. So Krishna says, I know that, but I need you to stay here for certain reasons. Right? But then Krishna then gives Uddhava a lot of knowledge, which is called as the Uddhava Gita, which is as big as Bhagavad Gita. It is the entire 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna's advice to Uddhava, which is covered from Dashakam 90 to 96 of Narayaniyam, is the condensation of the Uddhava Gita, which we'll see. So anyway, so he gives that knowledge to Uddhava, he then gives that knowledge to Maitreya Muni, who then gives it to Vidura, and all of that comes in separately. But anyway, so with all of that, so he gives the knowledge, and then Uddhava is still in residence, it says. So you are there, Uddhava is still there in Bhadarikashramam along with Narayanarayana, but Uddhava is still there to, in meditating on Lord Narayana.
இப்ப வரைக்குமே இருக்காரா உத்தவா அப்பன்னா?
அப்படின்னா சொல்றது, that is still residing in Bhadarikashrama, but we won't be able to see those people, like they won't be visible to the naked eye. Uddhava and all of them. But
அஸ்வத்தாமன் இவ அந்த 7 சிரஞ்சீவில இவர் ஒருத்தர் அப்பன்னா?
இவர் சிரஞ்சீவி கிடையாது, but he is still there.
Still there, okay.
Still there. Yeah. அவன் சிரஞ்சீவி அவெல்லாம் ரொம்ப they live for several more time அந்த மாதிரி, till the end they will be there. Even I don't know about Uddhava specifically, but he's not one of the chiranjeevis though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Prayena dwaravathyam, put that ma becomes a im, comma, im. Next word starts with a. Avrita dayi tada naradas twadra sardraha, put a visarga, comma. Next line is goes away. Tasmal lebhe kadachit khalu, comma. Sukrita nidhis tvat pita tattva bodham. Prahena dwaravathyam avritadhaitada naradastvadrasardraha tasmal lebhe kadachit khalu sukrita nidhis tvat pita tattva bodham.
प्रायेण द्वारवत्याम् अवदधयि तदा नारदस्त्वद्रसार्द्रः तस्माल्लेभे कदाचित् खलु सुहृदनिधिः स्वत्पिता तत्त्वबोधं प्रायेण द्वारवत्यामवृदधयि तदा नारदस्त्वद्रसार्द्रः तस्माल्लेभे कदाचित् खलु सुहृदनिधिस्त्वत्पिता तत्त्वबोधम्
प्रायेण द्वारवत्याम् आवृतदयितदा नारदस्त्वद्रसार्द्रः तस्माल्लेभे कदाचित् खलु सुकृतनिधिस्त्वत्पिता तत्त्वबोधम् प्रायेण द्वारवत्याम् आवृतदयितदा नारदस्त्वद्रसार्द्रः तस्माल्लेभे कदाचित् खलु सुकृतनिधिस्त्वत्पिता तत्त्वबोधम्
भक्तानाम् अग्रयाहि स च खलु मतिमान्, breaking it that na matiman uddhavas tvatta eva, comma, so that line is continuous. Prapto vijnana saram, comma, sa khila jana hitayadhunaste, one word, jana hitayadhunaste badaryam. भक्तानामग्रह्याहि स च खलु मतिमान् उद्धवस्त्वत्त एव प्राप्तो विज्ञानसारं स किल जनहितायाधुनास्ते बदर्याम्
भक्तानामग्रयायी स च खलु मतिमान् उद्धवस्त्वत्त एव प्राप्तो विज्ञानसारं स किल जनहितायाधुनास्ते बदर्याम् भक्तानामग्रयायी स च खलु मतिमान् उद्धवस्त्वत्त एव प्राप्तो विज्ञानसारं स किल जनहितायाधुनास्ते बदर्याम्
भक्तानाम् अग्रयायी स च खलु मतिमान् उद्धवस्त्वत्त एव प्राप्तो विज्ञानसारं स किल जनहितायाधुनास्ते बदर्याम् भक्तानाम् अग्रयायी स च खलु मतिमान् उद्धवस्त्वत्त एव प्राप्तो विज्ञानसारं स किल जनहितायाधुनास्ते बदर्याम्
सोऽह्यं कृष्णावतारो जयति तव विभो यत्र सौहार्दभीते स्नेहद्वेषानुरागप्रवृत्तिभिरतुलैः आश्रमैर्योगभेदैः आर्तिं तीर्त्वा समस्ताम् अमृतपदमगुः सर्वतः सर्वलोकाः स त्वं विश्वार्तिशान्त्यै पवनपुरपते भक्तिपूर्त्यै च भूयाः. Last stanza of Krishna Avataram. So it started in Dasakam 37, right, and comes to an end here at the end of 88, which from in Bhagavatam it's 4,000 stanzas in Dashamaskandam, which is all about Krishna, which is condensed into 51 stanzas here. So he says, this Bhattacharya summarizes by saying there is no comparison of any of your avataram compared to the Krishna Avataram because it is absolutely unique compared to every avataram because where Ashramair yoga bhedehi, where people got yoga comes huge union with you, which is liberation. So people got liberated without putting any effort. Like you didn't have to put extra effort to get liberated. All the things that we're trying to do, this puja, that puja, he says nothing was required. It was absolutely easy any way you want. So whether the Pandavas got liberated finally just because of being pure friends with Krishna, right? Arjuna, very close friend with Krishna. Kamsa, who got liberated because he was always afraid of Krishna. Right from the day when he said Devaki's 8th son is going to kill you, he's been thinking about that person who's going to kill and he's been afraid of that boy, of that child. Then, of course, pure, parental love, which will be Nanda, Vasudeva, Yashoda, Devaki, all of them. People who absolutely hated you to the core. Shishupala, Dantavaktra, all of them as well. And then just through pure attachment from the Gopikas, right? So each one, and some of them through pure lust, right? Not even love or anything, devotion, right? So it doesn't matter how they were all connected as long as they had a connection to Krishna in their own ways. When whatever comes naturally to them, you don't have to change your behavior. Whatever way comes natural, they all link to Krishna in that way. And because of that, ashramai, without any effort, they all achieved liberation here. So this one, so that's how it kind of, saying that, and we also saw, all the way from birth, every way. So that Krishna, who's Sattvam, you, Guruvayurappa, who's that Krishna in there, please eradicate all the sorrows as well and give me bhakti purtiya, give me complete, full, firm devotion towards you. So with that, the Krishna avataram comes to an end. Soyam Krishnavataro Jayati Tava Vibho, put a comma, Yatra Sauharda Bhiti, then put a plus, Sneha Dveshanuraga Prabhriti Bhiratulaihi. The ra goes away, Visarga comma, Prabhriti Bhiratulaihi, Visarga comma. Next word starts with a. Ashramair Yoga Bhedaihi. Sohyam Krishnavataru Jayati Tava Vibho Yatra Sauharda Bhite Sneha Dveshanuraga Prabhriti Bhiratulaihi Ashramair Yoga Bhedaihi.
सोऽयं कृष्णावतारो जयति तव विभो यत्र सौहार्दभीतिस्नेहद्वेषानुरागप्रभृतिभिरतुलैः आश्रमैर्योगभेदैः
During the first line, Vibho kapran comma. Okay, first line.
सोऽयं कृष्णावतारो जयति तव विभो यत्र सौहार्दभीतिस्नेहद्वेषानुरागप्रभृतिभिरतुलैः आश्रमैर्योगभेदैः
सोऽयं कृष्णावतारो जयति तव विभो यत्र सौहार्दभीतिस्नेहद्वेषानुरागप्रभृतिभिरतुलैः आश्रमैर्योगभेदैः सोऽयं कृष्णावतारो जयति तव विभो यत्र सौहार्दभीतिस्नेहद्वेषानुरागप्रभृतिभिरतुलैः आश्रमैर्योगभेदैः.
Also at a halfway point, so we can switch now. Shubha Hari, you can be a student. And then Lakshmi ji, I don't know, Yadavalli ji, Kamala ji, who said the review, the other Lakshmi ji can be a student.
I said the review for 87, Lakshmi
Yeah.
Edavalli.
Okay, so yeah, Lakshmi Kamala ji, you can be a student. I think you are the one, iPhone 17, I believe.
She said the review for 88, I think.
Yeah, I said review the 8 page.
Did we? Okay. Okay, so something went wrong in my this thing. Okay, that's fine. Lalita, can you be a student, Lalita, or
Yeah, I can.
okay,
I can.
okay, all right. So you and Shubhari, you
Yeah.
can be student.
Okay.
Sorry, I wrote something wrong. Artim tirtva samastam, so that ma we break it, samastam, comma. Next word starts with a. Amrita padamagus sarvataha, put a is, sarvatas sarvalokaha, comma. So after samastam, comma, then sarvalokaha, comma. Sa tvam vishwarti shantyai, comma. Pavana purapate bhakti purtyai cha bhuyaha. Artim tirtva samastam amrita padamagus sarvatas sarvalokaha satvam vishwarti shantyai pavana purapate bhakti purtyai cha bhuyaha.
आर्तिं दीर्त्वा समस्ता अमृतपदमहु सर्वतः सर्वलोकाः सत्वं विश्वार्तिशान्त्यै भवनपुरपते भक्तिपूर्त्यै च भूयाः आर्तिं तीर्त्वा समस्ताम् अमृतपदमहुः सर्वतः सर्वलोकाः सत्वं विश्वार्तिशान्त्यै भवनपुरपते भक्तिपूर्त्यै च भूयाः.
And the first third line la sarvataha and the visargala and the is will come. Sarvatas sarvalokaha.
Oh, सर्वतः सर्वलोकाः. Okay.
आर्तिं तीर्त्वा समस्ताम् अमृतपदमगुः सर्वतः सर्वलोकाः सत्वं विश्वार्तिशान्त्यै पवनपुरपते भक्तिपूर्त्यै च भूयः भूयाः आर्तिं तीर्त्वा समस्ताम् अमृतपदमगुः सर्वतः सर्वलोकाः सत्वं विश्वार्तिशान्त्यै पवनपुरपते भक्तिपूर्त्यै च भूयाः. Krishnaaya Parabrahmane Namaha.
Okay, that should come 89.
அது 3
Yeah.
times உண்டில்லையா?
Yeah, just we'll, yeah, you're right. I wanted to say that we'll say it 3 times normally, not today, but we just put an X there and say 3 times. So normal Parayanam, we'll wrap it up by saying 3 times. Yeah, thanks. That should come 89. Vrikasura.
Rajesh,
Yeah.
sorry, one question.
Yes.
So last two lines 3 times.
No, just the last line. Satvam
Last line 3 times.
Vishwarti Shanti. That
Okay.
line.
Okay. Thank you.
Dashakam 89. Vrikasura Vada Varnanam. Stanza 1. Rama Janhe Janhe Yadika Tava Bhakteshu Vibhavo Nasadya Sampadya Stadiha Mada Kritva Dashaminam Prashantim Kritvaiva Pradishasi Tatah Kamamakilam Prashanteshu Kshipram Nakalu Bhavadiye Chutikata. So this actually has got two stories in this, two independent stories, but centered around one theme, which is the first stanza here. So like, we all feel, right? I'm doing all these prayers, I'm asking for all of these things, but I just don't seem to be getting that in blessings, right? Why is that happening and all of that stuff? So this is not something that we are asking. Two very famous people have also asked in the past. One is Parikshit Ashuka Brahmam this question, saying that Lord Shiva, who is not even generally speaking terms, not considered rich, like he doesn't wear, you don't see any major, decorations. It's just, just abhishekams to Shiva. He's an ascetic, he wears ordinary, he looks very ordinary. He's roaming in crematorium. He's along with Bhuta Ganas. But the people who worship Shiva seem to get whatever they want. And then you have Shrifpati, Narayana Balaji, who's like extremely rich. Tirupati is so, well fitting, is so much alankarams happen there. Mahalakshmi always sits with him. But the people who worship Narayana, why do they not get everything in return? This is a general question that Parikshit asked Shukra Brahmam, and also Yudhishthira asks Krishna also the same question. Why is that happening? Right? So, no, there's like no comparison or anything here, but this Krishna's answer, Krishna says about, like how, so Shiva is an Ashutoshi, right? So he doesn't care about any of these things. He's beyond all of these things, right? To care about, I'm going to give you $100 or $1,000 and all of that stuff, right? So with pure devotion, you invoke Shiva, is going to come and he's going to give you the blessings you want. So that's why he's an Ashutoshi. He's easy to please. Now, in Narayana's case, it's different because what Krishna specifically tells Yudhishthira is, if somebody absolutely likes me or if somebody is truly devoted to me, I take away everything that they have from them. I take away everything they have from them and see if the devotion is continuing towards me. And if the devotion is continuing towards me, then the devotion is not dependent on the things that they are getting. So once they know they have that level of devotion, then they will absolutely get everything that they want and beyond what they want, right? And this is what in second Dashakam also Bhattaripat said, that even the devotees of Mahalakshmi don't get, because Mahalakshmi doesn't stay in one place. She's fickle-minded because she always follows Narayana. So whoever is a devotee of Narayana gets Mahalakshmi. That's only not because like Mahalakshmi just follows. It's because they get it because they don't want. So the true devotees are those who don't want anything, including not wanting liberation. That's what Krishna says. You should not even say, I want to get liberated, because that also is a desire. Means that also you have an ask of what you actually want. The true devotion is, I'm just devoted and I just love Krishna or whoever, whichever God that is matter. I'm just saying because Krishna said this, but you can be anybody for that matter. That is true devotion and not wanting anything in return. So that is what Krishna is telling here to Yudhishthira, and Shukra Brahmam then also relays that to Parikshit, right? Of that core conversation there, which we'll see two stories about it.
எனக்கு ரொம்ப
Hmm.
நாளா பயங்கர ஒரு ஒரு மாதிரி இது இருந்துட்டே இருக்கும். எப்படி அந்த பொலிட்டீஷியன்ஸ் கிட்ட எல்லாம் மகாலட்சுமி அப்படி இருக்கா, பகவான் கிட்ட இது பண்றவெல்லாம் இன்னும் அப்படியே வச்சுட்டு இருக்காரேன்னு எனக்கு எக்கச்சக்கமா எனக்கு ரொம்ப கொஞ்சம் கோபமா கூட வரும்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். அதனால ஆனா அது இப்ப கிளியர் ஆயிடுது எனக்கு அது.
Yeah, because of this, you should separate out the material things versus the non-material things.
இல்ல அது
Material things.
பேசிக்காவே அதுவும் இந்த மாத்வா பார்த்தேன்னா ரொம்ப வர்ஷிப்பிங் கிருஷ்ணா லாட். ஆனா அவெல்லாம் பார்த்தாக்க இன்னும் சம்பிரதாயம் எதுவுமே கைவிடாம நிறைய பேர் இருக்கா, எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு என்னோட ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாமே இருக்கா. ஆனா பார்த்தேன்னாக்கா லைக் பேசிக்கா தான் இருக்காளே தவிர அவளுக்கு அதை விட்டு போகவும் தெரியாது. ஆனாக்கா வந்து தே ஆர் ஸ்ட்ரகிளிங் ஃபார் இதுக்கு என்ன குழந்தைகள் கல்யாணம் பண்றதுக்கு பூணல் போடுறதுக்குலாம் தே ஆர் டிபெண்டிங் ஆன் அதர்ஸ். ஆனா இந்த பெருமாள் பார்த்தா அப்படியே கண்ணுல இருந்து அழுகையா வந்துடும் அப்படியே அவளுக்கு. எனக்கு ரொம்ப கோவமா கூட வரும். என்ன கிருஷ்ணா இவ்வளோலாம் பக்தியா இருக்கா, அவனை பார்த்தாவே அழறா அவா. அப்படி இருக்கிறப்ப ஏன் இப்படிலாம் வச்சுட்டு இருக்கேன்னு எனக்கு சில சமயம் கோவமாவும் வரும். ஆனா எனக்கு இப்பதான் எனக்கு கிளியர் ஆச்சு அது.
And you look at the greatest of devotees, Tyagaraja, right? He was struggling. Right? He was struggling. And I don't mean to say this is Krishna, it could be Rama also, right? For that matter, right? But look at the songs that Tyagaraja was able to compose. All of that came from the pain that he had, but his devotion never stopped.
Stop.
Right? Even in this case, Bhattaripat who wrote this also, right? He could have been so frustrated, right? But out of that devotion, out of that love comes the true, out of the pain comes the true devotion. So, they never gave up, right? And that's why they are the greatest. And you can pick any number of examples of people like that, right? And even the great in Dashakam 33, we saw Ambarisha Charitram. In Dashakam 26, we saw Gajendra Moksham, where the Indradyumna. Even the richest of people, when they want to get the true devotion, what they do is they renounce everything they have and go. Right? That is when they get to that point, right? So, Anala, just because you have the wealth doesn't mean you are blessed. Right? I think that's a separation you have to do. So, and people who don't have wealth are not blessed either.
Yeah.
Right? We put that criteria in our head, which is the problem. Anyway. Rama jane jane yadiha tava bhakteshu vibhavo, न सद्यस संपद्यस तदिह मद कृत्वादशमिना प्रशान्तिं कृत्वैव प्रदिशसि ततः पुट इह ततः काममखिलं, प्रशान्तेषु क्षिप्रं न खलु भवदीये च्युतिकता. रमा जाने जाने यदिह तव भक्तेषु विभवो न सद्यः सम्पद्यस्तदिह मदकृत्वा दशमिनां प्रशान्तिं कृत्वैव प्रदिशसि ततः काममखिलं प्रशान्तेषु क्षिप्रं न खलु भवदीये च्युतिकताम्.
रमा जाने जाने यदि तव भक्तेषु विभवो न सत्यः सम्पद्यस्तदिह मदकृद्वादशमिनां प्रशान्तिं कृत्वैव प्रदिशसि ततः काममखिलं प्रशान्तेषु क्षिप्रं न खलु भवति ये च्युतिकता रमा जाने जाने यदिह तव भक्तेषु विभवो न सत्यः सम्पद्यस्तदिह मदकृत्वा दशमिनां प्रशान्तिं कृत्वैव प्रदिशसि ततः काममखिलं प्रशान्तेषु क्षिप्रं न खलु भवति ये च्युतिकता.
रमा जाने जाने यदिह तव भक्तेषु विभवो न सद्यः सम्पद्यस्तदिह मदकृत्वा दशमिनां प्रशान्तिं कृत्वैव प्रदिशसि ततः काममखिलं प्रशान्तेषु क्षिप्रं न खलु भवदीये च्युतिकता. रमा जाने जाने यदिह तव भक्तेषु विभवो न सद्यः सम्पद्यस्तदिह मदकृत्वा दशमिनां प्रशान्तिं कृत्वैव प्रदिशसि ततः काममखिलं प्रशान्तेषु क्षिप्रं न खलु भवदीये च्युतिकता.
Just to clarify, I don't mean to say that if you're rich, you are bad, right? I mean, all I meant to say, I think the reason was there that if you should not get distracted by that. That was the core point there, right? That, anyway, stanza 2, tune changes. Sadhyah prasada rushitan vidishankaradhin kechid vibho nicha gunanugunam bhajantah भ्रष्टा भवन्ति बत कष्टमदीर्घदृष्ट्या स्पष्टं वृकासुर उदाहरणं किलास्मिन्. And here, it's also clarified. It's like no rule that you have to always worship Perumal or Shiva or Devi or Vinaka. He says everybody, according to their own internal tendencies and according to their own preferences, will worship different gods. And even in Bhagavatam also, in one point, Narayana comes and says that Mahavishnu, Brahma, Shiva are not separate. They are all from the same thing. They all just serve different functions and they all appeal to different types of people due to different reasonings. Now, that doesn't mean one is better or one is superior or one is inferior. That is absolutely not the stuff. Each one, according to their preference, will go under thing. Now, the example that they give here is with Brahma and Shiva because they said is they're relatively easy to get them to appear and to bless you, right? And when that happens and to give what you want, and that what happens is there are times when people have actually gone wrong. And you give examples of a few people, like we know, Hiranyakashipu got that boon from Brahma, absolutely ridiculous boon from Brahma. But Brahma knew there is a person above me who can come and protect me. So Brahma said okay to that. Then we saw about Jayadratha and Mahabharata war. He does that. Ravana gets, a boon from Shiva and everybody. And we saw in Bana's case, right? He got the boon from Shiva, but then he made Shiva the door gatekeeper for his own kingdom. So there are people who can misuse these boons very much. And there's another example which is said in all of these things is a person called Brikasura. Brika, that's the name of that Asura. Because the bad guy, so Asura. So Brikasura. So that is given as an Udaharanam. That is given as an example, which is coming from the next stanzas. Sadyah, put a F. Sadyah prasada rushitan vidhi shankaradin, comma. केचिद् विभो निज गुणानुगुणं भजन्तः भ्रष्टा भवन्ति बत कष्टमदीर्घ दृष्ट्या, स्पष्टं वृकासुर उदाहरणं किलास्मिन्. सद्यः प्रसादरुषितान् विधिशङ्कराधीन् केचिद् विभो निजगुणानुगुणं भजन्तः भ्रष्टा भवन्ति बत कष्टमदीर्घदृष्ट्या स्पष्टं वृकासुर उदाहरणं किलास्मिन्.
सत्यप्रसाद ऋषिदान् विधिशङ्करादीन् केचिद् विभो निजगुणानुगुणं भजन्तः भ्रष्टा भवन्ति पद कष्टमदीर्घदृश्या स्पष्टं मृगासुर उदाहरणं किलास्मिन्. सत्यप्रसाद ऋषिदान् विधिशङ्करादीन् केचिद् विभो निजगुणानुगुणं भजन्तः भ्रष्टा भवन्ति पद कष्टमदीर्घदृश्या स्पष्टं मृगासुर उदाहरणं किलास्मिन्.
सद्यः प्रसादरुषितान् विधिशङ्करादीन् केचित् विभो निजगुणानुगुणं भजन्तः भ्रष्टा भवन्ति बत कष्टमदीर्घदृष्ट्या स्पष्टं वृकासुर उदाहरणं किलास्मिन्. सद्यः प्रसादरुषितान् विधिशङ्करादीन् केचित् विभो निजगुणानुगुणं भजन्तः भ्रष्टा भवन्ति बत कष्टमदीर्घदृष्ट्या स्पष्टं वृकासुर उदाहरणं किलास्मिन्.
This Dasakam is going to be a lot of tune changing that is happening. So first stanza was a tune, second stanza was another tune, third is a different one. But all the tunes that we've seen before just apply to different stanzas here. Shakunijasatu narhadame kadha त्वरिततोषमपृच्छदधीश्वरं सचदिदेशगिरीशमुपासितुं न तु भवन्तमबन्धुमसाधुषु. So now the story is starting. Two stories. No, this is the first story here. So there was a demon called as Vrika, Vrka. That Vrika, so one day he meets, he's a very powerful person. So he meets Lord Narada on the road, on somewhere. So he then asks Narada that, listen, I want to become very powerful, very strong. So who do I pray to, right? Who can quickly get me what I want? So Narada says, we all know Lord Shiva is Ashutoshi. So you pray to Lord Shiva, he will give you whatever blessings you want. How he talks about how he blessed Ravana and all of those people, and he will give you what you want. So and that's the message that Narada is giving Vrika. Shakunijaha put is Shakunijas. So the Shakuni is coming here. This is not referring to the Mahabharata Shakuni. There's another person called Shakuni whose son's name is Vrika. So Vrika's father is Shakuni. So Shakunijas Satu Naradam Ekada, Tvarita Tosham. I'm breaking at that Ma there. Tosham Aprichad Adhishwaram. If you want to break at that Da, It and A, Aprichad Adhishwaram, Sacha Didesha Girisham Upasitum, Natu Bhavantam Abandhum Asadushu. So both of those mas you can break it, it will be easier. Shakunijasatu Naradame Kadha Tvaritatosham Aprichadadishwaram Sachadidesha Girisham Upasitum Natu Bhavantam Abandhum Asadushu.
शकुनिजसदु नारदमेकदा द्वरितदोषमपृच्छदधीश्वरं स चतिदेशगिरीशमुपासितुं न तु भवन्तम् अबन्तुमसाधुषु शकुनिजसदु नारदमेकदा द्वरितदोषम् अपृच्छदधीश्वरं स च दिदेशगिरीशमुपासितुं न तु भवन्तमबन्तुमसाधुषु
शकुनिजः स तु नारदमेकदा त्वरिततोषमपृच्छदधीश्वरम् स च दिदेश गिरीशमुपासितुं न तु भवन्तमबन्धुवा असाधुषु.
In the second line, Shubha, Tvarita Tosham Aprichat, ich and a cha, Prichat Adhishwaram.
Okay. शकुनिजः स तु नारदमेकदा त्वरिततोषमपृच्छत् अधीश्वरम् स च दिदेश गिरीशमुपासितुं न तु भवन्तमबन्धुमसाधुषु.
Again, on the cha, the second line, and the second cha, the second emphasis cha. So, Tvarita Tosham Aprichat Adhishwaram.
त्वरिततोषमपृच्छदधीश्वरम्.
Yeah, exactly. And it will also land properly then. Stanza 4, this again changes tune to the 4-liner tune. Tapastaptva ghoram sakalu kupita saptamadhine shirashchitva sadyah puraharam upasthapya puratah atikshudram raudram shirasi karadhanena nidhanam jagannatadvavre bhavati vimukhanam kvashubhadihi. So then this Vrika, he goes to Kedarnath and then he performs intense tapas on Lord Shiva to the extent that that's what he's doing all day, and every day he used to take a piece of his own flesh and then put it into the fire as a sacrificial offering to Shiva. He used to give parts of his own body, and then he kept doing this, and it was day 7 and Lord Shiva had still not appeared. So he was also getting very frustrated. So he says, today I'm just going to give up my life. And then he goes, bats comes, he takes some kind of a weapon or whatever, and then tries to offer his head. He tries to chop his head finally as an offering to the fire. So at that time, Lord Shiva then comes out of the fire and then asks, what boon do you want? Now, being an Asura, that's why he's an Asura. Now, he says, the boon I want is anyone who I touch on their head with my hand has to get burned to ashes. So that way I can rule over the world. So that is the boon he is asking. Now, in most of these cases, by the time the moment Bhagavan comes and you ask, they end up giving it, because that's the, that's the general thing. You appear because the person has done so much tapas and so much penance. So he says, okay. So now Vrikasura has got that boon. Tapas taptva ghoram sa khalu kupitaha. Put is kupitas saptamadine, comma. Shiraha, put ish. Shirash chitva sadyah, put f, sadyah. Puraharam upastapya puratah. Atikshudram raudram shirasi karadanena nidhanam, comma. Jagannathat vavre bhavati vimukhanam kva shubhadhihi. Okay, but what says anybody who doesn't have true devotion, how will they ask for anything which is good? They will always ask for things which are evil, which is what this person ends up doing. Tapastaptva ghoram sakhalu kupita saptamadhine shiraschitva sadyah puraharam upasthapya puratah atikshudram raudram shirasi karadanena nidhanam jagannatadvavre bhavati vimukhanam kva shubhadihi.
तपस्तप्त्वा घोरं सकलु कुपित सप्तमदिने शिरच्छित्वा सत्यः पुरहरमुपस्थाप्य पुरतः अतिक्षुद्रं रौद्रं शिरसि करदानेन निधनं जगन्नाथाद्वव्रे भवति विमुखानां पशुपतिः तपस्तप्त्वा घोरं सकलु कुपित सप्तमदिने शिरच्छित्वा सत्यः पुरहरमुपस्थाप्य पुरतः अतिक्षुद्रं रौद्रं शिरसि करदानेन निधनं जगन्नाथाद्वव्रे भवति विमुखानां क्वशुपदीः क्वशुभदीः.
Sir, one question. After Kupitaha is a Visarga, Rajesh ji?
Kupitaha, that becomes a is sound. Kupitas saptamadine.
No Visarga, just
Yeah.
Kupitas. Okay.
Sats.
Yeah.
The visarga becomes a is. Yeah.
Good.
तपस्तत्त्वा घोरं सकलु कुपितः सप्तमदिने शिरश्चित्वा सद्यः उपस्थाप्य पुरतः अतिक्षुद्रं रौद्रं शिरसि करधानेन निधनम् जगन्नाथाद्वव्रे भवति विमुखानां क्व शुभदीः तपस्तत्त्वा घोरं सकलु कुपितः सप्तमदिने शिरश्चित्वा सद्यः पुरहरमुपस्थाप्य पुरतः अतिक्षुद्रं रौद्रं शिरसि करधानेन निधनं जगन्नाथाद्वव्रे भवति विमुखानां क्व शुभदीः.
Stanza 5. We'll do 5 and 6 and stop today because then it's a different story starts. Muktarham bandha mukto harina patiriva pradravat sotarudram daityad bhityasmadevo dishi dishi valate prishthato datta drishtihi tushnike sarvaloke tava padamadi roksyantamudvikshya sharvam durat ebhagratastvam patu vatu vapushatastishe danavaya. So at that time, like Rudra is also surprised, that with the kind of boon this person is actually asking. Now, the moment he has gotten that boon, now he wants to test it. He wants to really test if this boon is actually working for him. And, so it's like as if you let a lion open, right? He then rushes towards Lord Shiva and says, I want to test it first on you. I want to see if this boon actually works. And he tries to attack Lord Shiva. So as he tries to pursue Lord Shiva disappears. So he's not able to get hold of Shiva. So now this person is like going around looking for Lord Shiva. He wants to test it on Lord Shiva first to make sure it is actually working. And then he's going all over the place. And finally, at some point, then Mahavishnu says, I have to put an end to this person. So he then dresses himself up as a brahmachari and then approaches this Vritrasura on the way. Moktaram bandha mukto, harina patiriva pradravat sota rudram, See here the harina is put to refer to the lion. So it's like you try to save a lion because you feel sorry that the lion is in the cage. What happens when you open the cage? The lion is going to come attack you, right? So like that, he's coming to attack the person who helped him. So pradravat sota rudram, Daityat bhityasmadevo, dishi dishi valate prishthato datta drishtihi. Moktarham bandha mukto harina patiriva pradravat sotarudram Daityat bhityasmadevo dishi dishi valate prishthato datta drishtihi.
मोक्तारं बन्धमुक्तो हरिणपतिरिव प्राद्रवत्सोदरुद्रं दैत्याद्भिद्यास्मदेवो दिशि दिशि वलते पृष्ठदो तद्दृष्टिः मोक्तारं बन्धमुक्तो हरिणपतिरिव प्राद्रवत्सोदरुद्रं दैत्याद्भिद्यास्मदेवो दिशि दिशि वलते पृष्ठतो तद्दृष्टिः.
मोक्तारं बन्धमुक्तो हरिणपतिरिव प्रादवत्सोतरुद्रं दैत्याद्भीत्यास्मदेवो दिशि दिशि वलते पृष्ठतो दत्तदृष्टिः.
Shubha, second line after Bhityasma Devo, and then there is a comma there. Okay, second line.
Okay. मोक्तारं बन्धमुक्तो हरिणपतिरिव प्रादवत्सोतरुद्रं दैत्याद्भीत्यास्मदेवो दिशि दिशि वलते पृष्ठतो दत्तदृष्टिः.
Tushnike sarvaloke, tava padamadi rokshyantam, break at that ma, rokshyantam udvikshya sharvam, duradevagratastvam, patu vatu vapusha tastishe danavaya. Vatu means a brahmachari, a small boy. तूष्णीके सर्वलोके तव पदमधिरोक्ष्यन्तमुद्वीक्ष्य शर्वं दूरादेवाग्रतस्त्वं पटुवटुवपुषा तस्तिषे दानवाय.
दूष्णिके सर्वलोके तव पदमधिरोष्यन्तमुद्वीक्ष्य शर्वं दूरादेवाग्रतस्त्वं पटुवटुवपुषा तस्तिषे दानवाय. दूष्णिके सर्वलोके तव पदमधिरोक्ष्यन्तमुद्वीक्ष्य शर्वं दूरादेवाग्रतस्त्वं पटुवटुवपुषा तस्तिषे दानवाय.
तूष्णीके सर्वलोके तव पदमधिरोक्ष्यन्तम् उद्वीक्ष्य सर्वं दूरादेव पटुवतु वपुषा ततिषे दानवाय.
Tastishe.
Okay.
And then the fourth line, first word, dura. If you want to break it, you can break it as durat evagratasthvam.
Okay. Okay. तुष्णीके सर्वलोके तव पदमधिरोक्ष्यन्तम् उद्वीक्ष्य सर्वं दूरादेवग्रतस्त्वं पटुवटु वपुषा तस्तिते दानवाय.
And again, another word, Shubha, durat evagratasthvam.
दूराद् एवाग्रतस्त्वम्.
Yeah. Next stanza 6. We'll finish this off right now. Bhadram te shakuneyam भ्रमसि किमधुना त्वं पिशाचस्य वाचा सन्देहश्चेन्मदुक्तौ तव किमु न करोष्यङ्गुलीमङ्गमौलौ इत्थं त्वद्वाक्यमूढः शिरसि कृतकरः सोपतच्छिन्नपातं भ्रंशो ह्येवं परोपासितुरपि च गतिः शूलिनोऽपि त्वमेव. So then he meets his brahmachari, so because it's like Vamana, like when he comes as a brahmachari, everybody, Shukracharya and Bali, everybody stood up thinking that is this the sun god himself who has come. He was just shining, right? Similarly, this Vrikasura meets his brahmachari coming who has so much effulgence in him. And, so this person first calms the Vrikasura. First, you have to calm that person. So he says, first, you seem to be in a rush. So why are you like straining yourself so much? It is not good for your body. Calms him down, and then Vikasura calms down. Then he says, there's something you seem to be looking for. I'm sure I can help with the amount of potency and tejas I have. I'm sure I can help you in some way. What do you want? So then Vikasura recites the whole thing saying, I got this boon from Shiva, but I don't trust him. So then, so this person then feeds into that, the trust issues, saying you are right. You cannot trust Lord Shiva. He's at the end of the day, he's roaming with the bhutas and the pretas, right? They all roam with him with the bhuta ganas. How can you trust somebody like that? His words cannot be trusted. And he says, I'm pretty sure I can assure you that, if you put your hand, nothing is going to happen. So you test it on yourself and it's not going to work. And then you better go get rid of that Shiva. And somehow he's able to trick that Vrikasura into putting his own hand on his head to show that it is not going to work. And then, of course, when he does it, he then gets burned to ashes. So that's how Vrikasura comes when. And the reason the story is being said is to say that, goes to the first stanza to say that with Brahma and Shiva, people get the boons, but they may not be ready to receive the boons that they are getting. Because you should be able to receive that, right? You should know how to use it. But that's why in Narayana's case, you do not get the boon so easily. Because unless you are ready to get it, you are not going to get it, right? And that is how in this way, this is the example that is quoted to explain that. So, Bhadram te shakuneya, Brahmasi kimadhuna tvam pishachasya vacha, sandehash chain maduktau, tava kimu na karosh yangulim. I'm just breaking at that ma there. Karosh yangulim anga maulau. Bhadram te shakuneya भ्रमसि किमधुना त्वं पिशाचस्य वाचा सन्देहश्चेन्मदुक्तौ तव किमु न करोष्यङ्गुलीमङ्गमौलौ
भद्रं देशागुनेय भ्रमसि किमधुना त्वं पिशाचस्य वाचा सन्देहच्छेन्मदुक्तौ तव किमु न करोषङ्गुलीमङ्गमौलौ भद्रं देशागुनेय भ्रमसि किमधुना त्वं पिशाचस्य वाचा सन्देहच्छेन्मदुक्तौ तव किमु न करोषङ्गुलीमङ्गमौलौ.
And the last word, Lita,
Ah,
karosh yang ya sound varum because it is karoshi angulim. So so it becomes ish and a ya there. Karosh yangulim.
Yanguli.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the anguli is
Karoshi
the word
Yanguli.
there, but karoshi plus angulim. அதனால it becomes ish and a ya.
இல்ல புரியல இன்னொரு தடவை சொல்றேன்ல.
இல்ல இல்ல okay. So அந்த word வந்து
ஆ.
you said angulim, right? அந்த wordக்கு.
Oh, okay.
So I'm saying angulim is correct, but the previous word as is karoshi. Karoshi plus angulim, that becomes when you're saying it together, it becomes a ya sound. Karosh
Yes.
yangulim
Yanguli.
angamaulam.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay. Thank you.
भद्रं ते शाकुनेय भ्रमसि किमधुना त्वं पिशाचश्च वाचा सन्देहश्चेन्मदुक्तौ तम किमु न करोष्यश्चङ्गुलीम् अङ्गमौलौ.
You added an extra ish there. Karosh yangulim angamaulam.
करोष्यङ्गुलीम् अङ्गमौलौ.
Yeah.
भद्रं ते शाकुनेय भ्रमसि किमधुना तं पिशाचश्च वाचा सन्देहश्चेन्मदुक्तौ तव किमु न करोष्यश्चङ्गुलीम् अङ्गमौलौ.
Again, or extra, you are adding some word there. Karosh yangulim.
करोष्यङ्गुलीम् अङ्गमौलौ.
Yeah. Ittam tvad vakya mudhaha, comma, shirasi krita karaha, put a is krita karas, sopatach chinnapatam, comma, bhramsho hyevam paropasiturapi, cannot break that word, paropasiturapi cha gatihi, comma, shulinopi tvameva. इत्थं त्वद्वाक्यमूढः शिरसि कृतकरः सोपतच्छिन्नपातं भ्रंशो ह्येवं परोपासितुरपि च गतिः शूलिनोऽपि त्वमेव.
इत्थं त्वद्वाक्यमूढः शिरसि कृतकरच्छोपदच्छिन्नपादं भ्रंसो ह्येवं परोपासितुरपि च गते शूलिनोऽपि त्वमेव.
And the last line, paropasiturapi cha gatihi, and then comma.
Oh, परोपासितुरपि च गतिः. Okay,
Yeah.
गतिः. Okay. इत्थं त्वद्वाक्यमूढः शिरसि कृतकरशोपदच्छिन्नपातं भ्रंसो ह्येवं परोपासितुरपि च गतिः शूलिनोऽपि त्वमेव.
इत्थं त्वद्वाक्यमूढः शिरसि कृतकरः सोपतच्छिन्नपातं भ्रांसो ह्येवं परोपासितुरपि च गतिः शूलिनोऽपि त्वमेव.
Fourth line, first word, bhramsho.
Oh, okay.
I think you had an
I
extra
think I said Brahmso. Okay. Yeah.
no.
इत्थं त्वद्वाक्यमूढः शिरसि कृतकरः सोपतच्छिन्नपाठं भ्रंसो ह्येवं परोपासितुरपि च गतिः शूलिनोऽपि त्वमेव.
In the class here today.
ராஜேஷ், எனக்கு ஒரு கொஸ்டின். ஆத்மாசுரவதம்னு ஒண்ணு கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கேன் முன்னாடி. அதுவும் இதுவும் ஒரே கதை தானா?
இல்ல, அது வேற. அது வேற. Similar thing.
மோகினியா வந்து மோகினி ஆட்டம் மாதிரி ஆடி
ஆமா, அது வேற. Correct. That is part of the Mohini Avataram where he dances with him, and then as part of the dance makes,
Right.
puts a step to do that. That is different from this Brekasura.
Okay.
Similar.
சிவன் கொடுத்த வரத்தினாலதான் அவனுக்கும் அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு பவர் வரும் இல்லையா?
ஆமா, அந்த passage is a very similar theme, of what people want for whatever reason. I don't know why, but anyway.
Yeah. I thought that is and these are same. Okay.
No, it's different. It's different one. The different. It's that core theme is the same, but the final the path to the outcome is different. So.
Okay.
Shri Krishnaaya Parabrahmane Namaha Sandhranandhavabodhatmakamanupamitam Kaladeshavadibhyam Nirmuktam Nityamuktam Nigamashatasahasrena Nirbhasyamanam Aspashtam Drishtamatre Punarurupurushartatmakam Brahmatattvam Tattavad Bhati Sakshat Guru Pavanapure Hanta Bhagyam Jananam राहेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणाहीति समर्पयामि. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Rajesh.
Thank you,
Thank you, Rajesh.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Bye, everyone.